Hey everyone, welcome back to another interview. I got someone really special here. His name is Vasco, and he runs an AI blogging content automation tool. And I saw it and wanted to get his insight on how he is using it for himself, also for his clients. So welcome, Vasco. How are you?
Hey, what's up? Thank you so much for having me on. I see what you guys are doing with in the AI space and letting as many people know about this technology as possible. So I feel great being here, and I feel great that I'm able to be creating stuff with this new technology and sharing it with people, which is always a good thing. So yeah, stoked.
Awesome. So just give us a little brief background on your particular tool and maybe just how you started playing with AI, how you came across building this tool, just so the viewers know, what it is your tool does.
I guess we'll start with a backstory because I used to do SEO, so search engine optimization, so the art, I guess, of ranking sites on top of search engines, Google being whatever, to get traffic, to get sales, right? And previously you had to write the content manually, add the images, add the videos, add internal links, external links. The whole SEO process is very time consuming. And so as AI was growing, everyone figured out that you were able to generate content. So essentially you could shorten the time from idea to publishing on the blog. And so you could essentially shorten the time that was needed to rank a site on Google to get more traffic, get more sales. And so we started playing around with the ability of generating quality content that actually ranked on Google. And 6 months ago, we developed the first MVP, which was essentially if I'm being honest, a ChatGPT wrapper, essentially, which is connected to the API and generated content based on that, which was okay. But now it improved so much to the point where you can essentially have our tool, Journalist AI, connected with your blog. And on autopilot, it has a blog running, actually generating and producing content directly to your blog in your brand's tone of voice, using your brand's mannerisms, your brand's images with links. So we've come a long way. And essentially, to make a long story short, my whole goal from the start was to find a way to leverage this new AI technology to help me do my job faster. My job being doing SEO. And that's the whole story, essentially.
Super, super cool. So you said some really interesting things there. So let's say that I have a blog, right? And I use your tool journalist.ai, and it automatically will create the blogs. I don't have to go in and press a button. It will automatically publish or create and then publish to my blog.
It's just a note. It's not journalist.ai, it's tryjournalist.com. But yeah, you don't just push a button. I mean, you have to give it some input, just like with any technology, right? And AI in specific, the better the input, the better the output. So you do have to give it a URL, for example, so we can analyze your site, analyze your brand, right? So we do give it some inputs, but compared to the outputs and the value of the output, the input you have to give it is minimal.
So what kind of results are you seeing with this? Because I've talked to a few people who have used AI with SEO, and some people are kind of scared because they're like, well, Google might come in and, they think it's AI generated, and then they're going to, give you a little slap on the wrist because you didn't really, create the content. I've spoken to other people who have seen tons and tons of traffic increase just because they increased their content velocity. So I'm curious as to what
that's an amazing question. I love it. I guess first thing is what I've noticed is that Google doesn't really care who or what writes the content as long as it serves the user search intent, right? So as long as it's quality and it serves the search, it doesn't really matter who writes it. And in terms of results, I'll give you two. And I'll give you one, which is the best one so far. We're Portuguese, me and my co-founder are Portuguese, and we were working actually a Portuguese fintech company wanted to, because they all their blog was in English. And of course they want to capture the Portuguese market, but their French founders, they don't know how to speak Portuguese, right? So what they did was they set Journalist AI to produce their blog in Portuguese because the tool produces content in any language, right? What they've seen is their whole blog is AI. It's writing in Portuguese with images, videos, all this. And I have a case study on this on the channel. The site started creeping up in ranking, right? If you take a look at the Google Search Console, it is ranking, getting impressions because, at least in Portugal, right? I think we're one of the least financial literal countries in European Union. So there's very little content about finance and how to pay taxes, what taxes to pay, whatever. And their blog now is becoming slowly the go-to for this type of content. And AI allows you to do this, right? It allows you to go to a market, maybe that's less served, in this case, the Portuguese market, and produce content in the local language about topics that maybe there isn't so much supply for. And this is just an example for the international markets. We have a couple more examples for the more competitive markets, the English markets, of course. But one thing I see is that, yes, you can just use our tool to produce content like clockwork, but the people who have the most success are the ones that like know some nuances about marketing and SEO, right? With anything, right? There comes a point if you just press a button and produce content, if everyone has access to that button, the people that win are the people that know the nuances, right? I guess super long answer, but we're seeing great results in international markets because there's a lot of demand for this info, but less supply. Mm-hmm. And also we're seeing people win in the more competitive markets if they have some knowledge. And also, as you know, SEO is not just about content, it's also about backlinks and technical SEO. So the people that combine AI content with the other aspect of it, technical off-page SEO, are the ones that are winning. So yeah, long answer, but hopefully it was good.
Yeah, no, you said some really amazing things, and I'm going to touch on 2 points and we can answer them. But the first thing is you can enter new markets. So that is a really interesting concept that I don't think people are really getting the grasp of. We kind of mentioned it a little bit in our community. Like you can use HeyGen. I don't know if you're familiar with that tool, but essentially you can create an avatar of yourself, and you can, basically create a person that looks like you, sounds like you, and you can have it speak any language, right? So for example, if you have a course, you could essentially translate that course into Spanish or any other language, and now you entered a new market. So you could do the same thing with SEO using tools like this, which is really, really interesting. With that said, you also mentioned that, it's a hybrid approach of AI is writing the content, but you do need to know some SEO skills as far as like technical SEO and learning about backlinks and referring domains and stuff like that. With your tool, is your tool just writing the content, or does it have some other it checks, internal links or things like that?
Yeah, so I guess answering the first question, which is a great one, a great idea, we're seeing some Shopify store owners come to Journalist AI and try the tool, right? They have the Shopify store, which has a blog associated with it. And these Shopify stores, oftentimes they'll sell worldwide or just in Europe. And what they're doing is they're setting specific like location or country-based blogs. So if they want to capture the French market or the German market, they have dedicated blogs written in the local language that are ranking, right? So they can capture all the international markets. So imagine you have a Shopify store with different blogs in over 100 different languages, capturing the demand on all these different markets. Because we think about the English market, yeah, it's huge, but there's a lot of people that speak Portuguese, right. A lot of people that speak Indian, right? So being able to capture all these markets is insane, and people are doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I guess to answer the second question, Journalist AI doesn't just generate content. We will also build internal links for you. So for example, let's say you generate an article about gardening supplies, and then you generate another one about whatever it is, right? We will interlink the articles automatically in a way that makes sense. We will also add external links to authoritative sources in your niche. For example, let's say you generate an article about in the finance space, right? We will insert links to Bloomberg, TechCrunch, maybe Wikipedia, right? And now we're just releasing a feature, I think just today, which allows you to go back to articles you've written in the past, let's say in 2012, right? And update them automatically with new links, with new information. So you can update all their content. So
right.
It's pretty cool. It's insane.
Yeah, that's really, really interesting. So let's say I have a blog, right? And I want to come use your tool. What's the steps? Like, what do I need to do to start getting it working and start seeing some results?
Yeah, so I guess first things first is you got to have something to sell, right? That's, the obvious, right? You shouldn't just be producing content just because. I guess maybe I'm going a bit too far. I guess just using the tool, it's super simple. Just go to tryjournalist.com. I'm going to log in here. I'm already logged in. And we try to make this as simple as possible, right? You have a bunch of stuff here. You can set up your auto blogs. You can integrate with a bunch of stuff. You can index the content automatically. It does keyword research for you. Post to social media. There's all this stuff, but the basic stuff is you go here in articles, right? Mm-hmm. And then here's where you give the input to the AI, right? For example, I'll go through this one real quick. Do you want your articles to have videos? If you enable this, right? When we write the whole article, right? This is an article all written. We'll read through it. We'll then go on YouTube and find what's the video that's most relevant to this article. We'll skim through them and then we'll add them here inside of the article. Not just randomly, right? We'll add them in the section that's relevant to what the video is about, right? Images, we can add like a bunch of images. You can do AI images. You can add your own images, Google's images, stock photos. If you do choose AI, you can add prompts, make them hyper-realistic if you want. Here's where you set up your links, external links, internal links. So again, when your articles are going to have links inside of it, right? It can have internal links which link to your homepage, maybe link to other blog posts of yours, maybe link to the contacts page, external links linking to authoritative sources. Again, pretty straightforward, just enable this. And there's, of course, more advanced options if you want more customizations, but I won't go over those right now. And then you can also have enabled all these sections. There's one real cool here, which is the call to action section, right? Let's say, for example, you write an article about gardening, right? It's all about gardening and also about how to start a garden as a newbie. If you add your call to action as your Shopify store, we'll add a paragraph down here at the bottom of your articles that serves as a call to action that has the whole article in context and links to your Shopify store products.
Let's say that I have, our site is all about AI. So like we have about 9,000 AI tools. We don't really have a really established blog. So for someone like me or a company like us who wants to start using AI to create blog content, what does it look like?
Let me go here and start from the beginning, right? Base, we will choose the generation mode. Let's just do, so we're quick, right? Give me, for example, because there's a bunch of generation modes you can generate based on keywords, title, or description. Let's do titles to start with. Give me, for example, 2 titles of a blog post you'd want to write content on, right?
Let's talk about automating content creation using AI and Zapier. And a second one could be what we were just talking about, how to translate content using AI into a different language.
So we can give it as many as we want, right? Just give it just to test this out. Content, right? We can choose English or any other language. Let's just do English. Target country, this is important because of the links, right? We're choosing US, of course. This will, of course, depend on how you want your brand to be perceived, right? We'll just leave it here, I guess. Tone of voice, I usually like to keep it informal, but whatever you choose, we can do. Point of view, I usually do first person, singular, because I think it's more personal. At least myself, I like to read articles in the first person, but you can play around with this. You can add some custom instructions here. I guess we'll just skip this for now. So that's step 2 done. We just close these 2. Third, knowledge. You can just enable this to connect this to the web. So all the content is up to date, right? That's really important. Real quick here, the brand. Essentially, you can create a brand. And by doing so, essentially, think about your brand, right? A brand has assets. An asset could be your website itself, could be your LinkedIn, could be your YouTube, can even be some text or audio documents. All these, right, are brand assets. And what you're doing here when you create a brand and connect a brand to journalists, essentially, Journalist AI is as knowledgeable as you are about your brand, right? You being the founder or CEO, right? You know everything about your brand. By connecting your brand's assets to journalists, Journalist AI is able to produce content that's actually brand tailored with your own brand tone of voice. Now, in this case, if you don't have a blog, the context the AI has is little. It's just a website with some social media. But yeah, it's a really cool feature to produce non-blend AI content. We'll really skip that for now. Formatting, just real simple here. Structuring. We can add your site here or maybe a page on your site.
Bestofai.com. You could just put bestofai.com.
Maybe we could put this offer, for example, we'll link out to your offer. Article size, you can just do medium, play around with this. To set up the internal linking, we have to add a sitemap. So is your guys' sitemap on here?
For those who are not really SEO technical, can you just quickly explain what a sitemap is to everyone?
Yeah, for sure. A sitemap essentially is a place, right, where you have access to all the pages on your site. So if I go here to /sitemap, I have these 4. These are 4, I guess, subcategories. And this one is the sitemap for the pages. So here, it shows me all the pages on the site, right? These are all the pages on the site. Now, there should be also a sitemap for posts, if you guys have posts. If not, there won't be one. Blogs. Okay, so this one should be the sitemap for the blog posts. If I go here, I can see all the blog posts, which at the moment are 2. But we can use these ones for now. And let's just do this here. And I can click here to preview, and I'll see that these will be the internal links we'll link out to. Now, granted, for example, these articles will be about these topics, and if in this case you don't have much content, so these links might not be the most relevant, but we'll figure it out. External linking. Now, you can just enable this, and we'll scrape the internet for relevant articles in your niche and language and add them to the site. Now, in case maybe you don't want to link out to your competitors or to certain sites, you can add these rules here to exclude certain sites if you want, right? And if you want to force some sites, you can just add them here, right? And if you want to link to Wikipedia, you can do so here, right? Then images, we could do DALL-E 4 AI images. We want a featured image, we want in-article images, and we want YouTube videos. We click generate 2 articles, and we'll just give it a second here, and it's going to start generating. I guess what it does, I can show you a few examples here because this works for any niche. I'll show you here one for dog grooming niche. And these are all done with AI, right? There's a table of contents, key takeaways. This is AI, by the way. This looks insanely real.
Yeah.
In bullets, tables, quotes, internal links here. There's a video here. Again, that's relevant to the article as a whole, right? And yeah, we can just go skim through these and I can just click here to post them to my site. Here it says integration because you can integrate with all of these platforms right here, WordPress, Shopify, Ghost, Wix, all these ones, right? Even Zapier or an external API. Also, while that flows, I guess I'll show you this. You can set up an indexer so that the content is indexed in Google. Furthermore, you can set up an auto blog, what I was saying before, which essentially allows you to select however many articles you want to generate and publish every day. So essentially, you are connecting Journalist AI with your site, and every day it's posting 6. So it's generating plus it's posting 60 articles every single day. And you can, of course, play around with this and this.
And for this auto blogging, it automatically will create the titles and kind of do the keyword research based on your brand or your business, right?
The titles, yes. The keyword research, yes, as well. But you have to set it up here first in the keyword monitor. Just go here, add your site. It's quite simple. Add the site, add the country, add the language, and it will give you a bunch of keywords with low S difficulty, so they're easy to rank for in theory, and some decent search volume. So you just save the monitor and then have the auto blog run off of this monitor, off of this keyword monitor. So yeah, essentially the answer is yes. Let's take a look at this. How to translate content using AI into different language. So there we go. Let's take a look at table of contents. Why use AI for content translation? The benefits, okay, choosing the right AI for translation tool, preparing your content for translation, best practices, and FAQs as well. Let me just skim through this a bit, right? Key takeaways here. This is quite cool, right? Translation, there's like books in different languages. So it's
really cool.
One more is increasing the speed of it and efficiency. If we go here, this links out to, okay, so it's a relevant article in the same niche, the AI space, and tells the impact of translation. So it's a relevant, in this case, external link. So it's pretty well done here. More links here, more internal images. Sometimes the AI images look a bit weird depending on the niche, right? I mean, we just skim through this. There's a video here translating, and this one isn't the most relevant. Again, depending on the niche, things are more or less relevant. And yeah, I mean, it looks decent.
Yeah,
right.
Especially for first go, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing, if you don't like something, you could just click this little button right here, and you can manually revise the content if you want. Right. For example, let's say I don't like this image, I'll just delete it. Let's say I don't like this right here, or I want to add a link here. So you can play around with this and give it the human touch and publish it. So yeah, that's about it. That's super quick how it all works. There's a bunch of more features, but yeah, that's mostly it.
Thank you for showing us just the example of how it can work for, businesses. It really sparks my interest just because it's so fast at writing content. Like that took not even 5 minutes to write two like 3,000 word articles with images and like table of contents and the whole 9 yards. It's so insane.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's crazy. So with that, is that using ChatGPT 4?
We use a mix of models and our own model, so LLMs, so different ones.
Gotcha. So it's a hybrid between different models. That's really, really cool.
We like to try and test different models all the time because it's such a new industry that you have to be doing it, right? Otherwise, you're going to get left behind. So we're trying new ones, not every day, but every couple of weeks.
What's been your favorite one that you've tested that's like not ChatGPT, because there's so many out there?
Yeah. People often say bad things about the one from Google. And what we've seen is that, yes, it is inferior. However, how things seem to be set up, it seems to be set up for success more than what the initial models of OpenAI looked like, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I'm sure they're paying attention to what OpenAI is doing and notes. And I'm sure Google has the team and the resources, obviously, to create something great. So we'll see if it actually pans out. But yeah, I totally agree. We've been testing different ones as well. Have you tested Claude at all?
Not yet. Actually, not that one yet. No, we have to. What do you guys think about that one?
Yeah, I think it's a little more PC. Like it will say we can't do certain things more than ChatGPT and OpenAI. However, I find that the writing that Claude outputs is more human-like than ChatGPT, where you don't really have to prompt it a lot to say, hey, write like this, write in this style, write, at an 8th grade level. Whereas Claude, you don't really have to prompt. It kind of just writes like a human, which is really nice. So what we've been doing is kind of combining ChatGPT, some of the outputs that we get from ChatGPT, and then like rewriting it in Claude to see and compare what's better.
No, that's cool. And that's part of the reason why we have all the settings there to change the tonality, change the voice, because different people for different niches might want to speak to their customers in different ways. So yeah,
Exactly.
for sure.
Exactly. So I'm curious, like you've been iterating for the last few months. Have you seen clients like, I know you said the guy translated his text into Portuguese and now he's entering the Portuguese market, but have you seen clients scale to like the point where they're getting so much traffic that you could just see like the night and day difference between before they used AI and then after they used AI, like scaling that way?
I'll be honest, it's still too early to tell. And because our software is kind of new, right?
Yeah.
6 months maybe. So yeah, I could just make something up, but no, we haven't seen anything like huge. But we do see improvements in the sense that business owners feel good because they can iterate faster, because they're producing content faster.
Right.
And in my mind, if you iterate faster, you evolve faster, and that's what it's all about, right? But yeah, no huge case studies, no huge not yet.
Yeah. That's okay. I think it's early enough that it's obviously validated enough. People are doing it, but I think from what I've seen personally, I watch and I analyze so many different AI tools, especially with SEO. I feel like yours is probably one of the nicer ones that I've seen, especially just like the UI and just the overall user experience. It seems very straightforward and modern. So congrats. Give yourself some props on that.
Yeah. It's actually funny you say that, because yesterday I was recording a YouTube video testing 7 AI tools, and I was being super impartial and I was being like, no bias at all towards ours, but the UI of those ones was real bad. You have no idea what things are. It takes so much time. It's too confusing. And I think one thing we did good was building it super clean, super streamlined. So yeah, I agree with you.
You're biased. No.
Yeah.
So kind of derailing this a little bit, but I don't know if you're on Twitter obviously all the time, but there was a case where a guy, one of your competitors actually, he did what, I don't even know what it's called, but essentially he stole like 3.6 million.
A heist.
There you go. Yeah. You saw that, right?
Yeah, dude. His site got clapped now. Google I tanked the site. Yeah.
I saw that. So for everyone who doesn't know, so basically this guy who owns an AI SEO tool, for one of his clients, he basically took someone else's sitemap, took all the websites from that sitemap, uploaded it into his AI tool, and then rewrote all those articles. I think it was like 1,800 articles using AI, and then I guess made them better, made them longer, more in-depth, whatever. And because he was able to do that, he got, crazy amounts of traffic, but then he went on Twitter and talked about the strategy that he did, and then Google manually banned him or banned the site. So
I think the lesson here is don't embarrass Google in public. Because I think if you would have kept it private, I think it would be all good. Honestly.
Correct. I agree. I think people talk too much sometimes. But with that said, do you think that Google is going to do that more often? Because now that strategy is out and it got, millions of impressions, millions of people saw that particular tweet, that thread, do you think that Google, in your opinion, do you think Google is going to kind of look at it differently now? Because I guess the cat's out of the bag, right? Like we're going to start doing stuff like that.
Google's going to have a hard time. Like it's still a bit unsure in the SEO industry, how people feel about what Google's going to do. Because if everyone has the ability to click a button, produce content, you're going to have to find ways to make yourself better. We yet don't know how to do that. It's a very hard question. I think Google can analyze if a site is mass publishing a bunch of garbage, and they will and should penalize those people. I don't think they did the right thing in penalizing the other side, because the content was good, right? I think they only did it because they were being shamed in public,
right?
Because they don't know yet what to do. I don't think anyone really knows what to do yet and what the future looks like. And that's what I think it's super exciting about AI, is that nobody knows what's going to happen. And so it's all a bit uncertain. I don't think this answered your question, because I don't know the answer, but yeah.
No, I think you're right. I think it's just, one, it's moving so fast. Like the rate at which AI is moving is insane. I personally have never seen something like this, and the speed at which it's advancing. So I think you're right that Google and other companies like Google are going to have a hard time keeping up with what's happening, especially when you have bootstrappers who don't really have all the bureaucratic nonsense that goes on in major companies where they can move really fast without anyone telling them that they can't. I totally agree with you. So Vasco, thank you so much for your time and showing us journalists. I am personally going to use it and try it out. It seems like a really good opportunity for those who are watching this to try it out as well, especially if you want to scale your content and create content really quickly. And you don't have to publish 1,800 posts, right? You can publish 10 and just see how it does, how it performs, and go from there. So Vasco, thanks again. Where can people find you and like where you're at on Twitter? What's your handles?
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me on. I mean, I'm on Twitter. It's Vasco ABM. I'm on YouTube as well. Vasco Montero. I'm not sure if people know how to spell that, but yeah.
I'll put the link down below. Yeah, I'll put the link down.
Yeah, tryjournalist.com. If you want a coupon, use secret10, you'll get 10% off. If you want an even bigger coupon, just email support, tell them you came from this podcast, and we'll give you a bigger coupon. So yeah, that's all I have.
That's really nice because I did not ask him to do that. He did it right out of his own kind heart. So you heard the man. If you want to try it out, you can use the coupon. Yeah, so thanks again, Vasco, so much. I really appreciate your time, and we'll definitely be in touch.
For sure. Thank you so much for having me, and take care.